Hello and welcome everybody. J-Man back for another day's worth of reactions. It is my Sunday. Hope you're all doing well out there, staying safe, staying connected. Do me a favor, reach out, say hi, send a text message, just connect to somebody that you haven't talked to in a little while. Let them know that you're thinking about them and that you care. Crazy times that we're living in, and we could all use a little reminder that there are people out there that we care about and that care about us. Um, we are working our way through a number of different types of requests for today. This request is actually the weekly request from Daniel H86. He does some work pulling your requests from my video titled Your Suggestions Here, putting them into a spreadsheet, and then I pass those over to Jess M80, Jess M81. Sorry, forgot the number behind your name, Jess. Who puts them into a nice, pretty format that is legible for me that I can work with. So thank you for your work, Daniel. I appreciate that. But do remember, if you do have a song you'd like to react to, you need to find that video that I'd mentioned titled Your Suggestions Here. Link to the video is down in the description below. You need to put your requests as a comment in that video, not in a reaction video like this one. You can also connect with me in other ways. You can see over to my side. I'd pay attention to my Vimeo, as that's where I'm now uploading any content that gets blocked. And if you do enjoy the music that we're reacting to, please support the artists. Links to the original videos are down in the description below. Pop over, like the video, subscribe to the artist page, do whatever you can to help support them. So this request is for a band that we heard, I believe, for the first time yesterday. Somebody can correct me if that's wrong. But As I Lie Dying, the song is My Own Grave. There's a pretty heavy backstory to this song. We're going to stop about halfway through here and talk about the lyrics and the meaning behind the lyrics and things like that. Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive on in. As I Lay Dying, My Own Grave. Let's get it. Sassy 81. Okay, sounds like we're going back into the chorus again there. So, yeah, so the meaning behind this song is that the lead singer actually got busted for trying to put a hit on his wife. Turns out that the person that they had hired as a hitman was an undercover cop. And Daniel was telling me that he's got a working theory. This is just a theory. Nothing, that we're sure of or anything like that. But the lead singer had mentioned that they had been using steroids before this. One of the known effects of steroids is the psychological effect that it can have, that causes what's known as roid rage, where the person has just uncontrollable rage. And I can certainly speak to that. I had a friend of mine that was using steroids for a while, and he became someone completely different than the friend that I knew in that period of time that he was using steroids. And once he got off of them, he went back and he was fine after that. I think it did have a bit of a permanent effect on him, on his mood and things. From what I know, steroid use can actually have a pretty severe impact on your limbic system, which is the area of your brain that controls emotion. But yeah, so the song is basically about the fact that, he got put in prison for that. He served his time for his crime, the crime of intention to commit murder. But the lyrics, the lies, the weight, deceit, decay, the lies, the weight, it's clear I lost my way. Deceit, decay, decomposing. I thought I was an architect, but I was just moving dirt, stacking mud over malice, covered up, forming nothing but a pile of hurt. I had been building, the time was spent digging, boring the barriers that kept others away. The deeper the walls, the less anyone could hear me fall. So now I know there is no one else to blame. Buried alive inside of my own grave, and there's no one else to blame. Buried alive inside of my own grave, inside of my own grave. Beneath my lies, delusional enough to think I'd designed something great, like a giant headstone inscribed to describe my shameful fate. I hadn't been building, the time was spent digging. An ugly truth from which there was no way to escape, nothing left to hide, and then finally forced to face what I'd become. Then we got a repeat of the chorus. Beneath my pride crushing me, beneath my lies collapsing, but we are still alive. We are still alive. Repeat of the chorus. And then another repeat of the chorus. Finally forced to face what I'd become in my own grave, buried in my own grave alive. So yeah, deep stuff. And, like I said, this is a very, obviously, I think, a very meaningful song to him and I'm sure to the band members. I think that it's a good thing for him that the way things played out, that they played out the way that they did. Otherwise, he would have been, rather than living with the guilt of having attempted to do what he had done, he would have had to have lived with the guilt of what he had done. So yeah, very deep stuff. I'm really enjoying the musicianship here. The growls, the heavy vocals, I think are very apropos for the subject matter. And I enjoy it. They're the kind of harsh vocals that I can get behind. It's more of that screamy, growly kind of thing, which I do enjoy. But yeah, the chorus, the verses are super heavy, super dark. The choruses lift up just a little bit, and bring in a little more melodic sort of a feel to it. But, yeah, definitely enjoying it so far. Let's back it up a smidge and we'll, keep on going. That gets its up anthem. All right. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was really great. Thank you so much for that request, Daniel. Like I said, musicality was great. It's got that very hard, very dark, gritty kind of a feel that I've talked about before. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's the super heavy on the bass, a lot of bass in the guitars, and things like that. The vocal, like I said, the intensity of the vocal matches what is going on with the lyric and what's going on behind the song. Apologize, I've got a dog scratching at my leg. Up, Dodo, you need it. Go play with yourself, okay? Go find something to do. But yeah, just super intense. And again, like I said, I'm happy for him that it at least ended the way that it did, in that he was only guilty of a crime that he intended to commit, and not guilty of actually having committed the act. Well, what he did was a crime itself, guilty of that, but that it didn't end up going through to the finality of it. And I 100% stand behind people that can admit to their flaws, pay the penance for what they've done, and come out the other side and recognize that and move on. It's something I feel like, not just here in the US, but in the world, I feel like people have a problem with forgiving people for making mistakes. We all make mistakes. Some of us make mistakes that are bigger than others. And I've made some really big fucking mistakes in my life. And I've ended up in jail for a couple of the mistakes that I've made. And I absolutely regret those. And here in the US, in a couple of the states that I had lived, since that stuff happened, which it all happened in my teens. But after that, there were a couple of states that I lived in where I couldn't even vote because I had a past criminal record. It didn't matter that 20, 30 years had passed. Bear with me 1 second. I'm getting sassed from my dog. So yeah, we all need to understand that we all make mistakes, and some people's mistakes are bigger than other people's, and some of them are illegal and whatever, but that doesn't define a person. The mistakes that a person makes do not define them. To me, it's what they do after they make those mistakes. And yes, that even includes somebody who may have committed murder. We are an emotional being. And we do things out of emotion sometimes, which are practically out of our control. And we need to learn to forgive people and let them, if they earn it, forgive them and allow them their retribution. And so hopefully this was something that turned the lead singer's life around, and he recognizes what happened and makes the best of his second chance that he's given. So anyways, J-Man diatribe over. Thank you so much for the request, Daniel. YouTube, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. We'll be back for a few more requests to finish out my day. Hope to see you all for those. Peace.